Angry Faithful. This is just to let you know there's more than one way that you can check in on the different types of degree of fuckery we get into. You can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, or just watch us on YouTube or Rumble. Don't forget to like, share, and comment where you can, or just leave 5 stars on Apple Podcast. We thrive on things like absolution from our audience, but see if we can get this steamrolled into something big. We're depending on you. Thank you for watching. Now let us begin.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today at Nerd Sports, we're going to talk about the Urban Craps game. All right, it's a head-to-head. We're okay. Anyways, go ahead.
I was going to let you go. I mean, I just had visions of Red getting robbed for his money by Debo, and
now I watched Dave Chappelle, and that was. Remember that old that one skit to where they were talking about the world champions of bone tossing, I think it was.
Yeah. I mean, like at work, we took the dice off of one of the guys' trucks or the valve stem covers because they were craps next to his truck, and he's like, "Where'd you get that dice?" And he goes, "Oh, I guess we'll put them back on your truck." He goes, "Oh, you motherfuckers." It's hilarious. Anyways,
big news this
back.
Week.
Yeah, baseball's back.
Baseball's back. Tom Brady's back. What else we got here?
We'll get to that. Slow your roll. Yeah. Hey, pump the brakes, Fox and Friends. Hold on. All right, so baseball's back. It's going to be the full 162 game season. The first 2 series, or let me get into that.
I can.
Teams
I had the listing.
The mandatory report.
I think everything's down.
I've got it pulled up.
Okay.
You done? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Go.
Okay.
I'm just gonna look pretty and sound pretty.
Hey, there you go. You got to have something going for you, anyway, right? All right. So, the mandatory report date was yesterday, which was Sunday, the 13th, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of teams already had players on their own dime reporting to facilities near their spring training camps, getting workouts in, getting stretched out, working on mechanics, things of that nature. But camps officially opened yesterday. Players were able to report as Friday when teams were coming in mass. Spring training games tentatively begin on the 18th, which I believe is Thursday. Let me see here. No, not that. No, not that. Holy crap. Oh, there it is. I'm staring at my calendar. Yeah. No, it's the Friday 18th. The 18th is a Friday. So, there won't be the traditional St. Patrick's Day game, which is fine. I mean, it's just kind of cool to see how all the different teams incorporate green into their color schemes. But opening day is going to be Thursday, April 7th. It's 1 week late, which is the season was supposed to start March 31st through April 6th. And so it's the games that were scheduled for the 1st through the 6th. It's going to be like 2.5, maybe 3 series, depending on how their schedule's kind of fleshed out. They're going to be made up with 3 games at the end of the previously scheduled regular season as part of 9-inning doubleheaders. That was a big thing that they did away with. They did away with the 7-inning doubleheader. So they're going to be 9-inning doubleheader. They've also included a new playoff format. So the October field has been expanded from 10 teams to 12 teams, which is 6 teams from each field, or from each league, rather. The 3 division winners and teams in each league. So there's going to be an additional wild card team, as opposed to the 2 that we've had for the last few years. There's going to be 3 now. top two division
So
winners.
basically, they put everything the same, and they're getting it ready to even what do you call it?
No, it's not going to be the same because there's a lot of changes.
Oh, okay.
So, there was originally 2 wild card teams. Now there's going to be 3, but the top 2 winners in each receive buys to the divisional series. Okay, so it's going to go from a best of, a one winner take all, or it might be like a best of 3. Okay, so the division series is a 5-game series, and then championship series to include the World Series, which are both best of 7. Okay, so the top 2 division winners from each league, so in the American League and the National League, the 2 top best records get a bye week or get a bye into the divisional series. Okay, so they ain't got to mess with the wild card. All right, the other 4 teams play a best of 3 series, in which will be called the wild card round, with the higher seed hosting all 3 games. All right, there will be no reseeding for the divisional series. The number 1 seed plays the winner of the 4 and 5, and the number 2 will play the winner of the 3 and 6. Okay. There will no longer be a playing game. For the last couple of years, it was dubbed Game 163. All playoff spots will be determined through tiebreaker formulas. So, if there's 4 teams eligible for the wild card, for example, the 3 and 4 teams will have tiebreakers applied to them to figure out who's going to be the actual wild card, kind of a thing. Okay. As far as on-field changes for rules, the big one 2022 is going to be the universal designated hitter. So both the National and American leagues are going to have the designated hitter. So that means pitchers will no longer hit.
Wait a minute.
But
What?
In the National League, that was the National League and the American League. The National League pitchers hit. Okay, they had a spot, usually the number 9 spot on the batting order. Okay. And it was always considered like an easy out. But now both leagues will have the designated hitter rule. Okay. Pitchers will no longer have a spot in the batting order. Now, there is a rule that through substitutions, you can lose the DH in the American League, and the pitchers will be forced to hit at that point. But if managers are doing their job the proper way, nadir is always going to be there, because it's usually like a double switch or whatever. It's pretty complicated. I think it's only happened once or twice in the last 5 or 6 years during the regular season in the American League. So, but beginning in 2023, there's a joint competition committee comprised of 4 active players, 6 members appointed by the Major League Baseball owners, and 1 umpire will be tasked with making decisions on other changes, such as a pitch clock, limits on defensive shifts, larger bases, and the automatic ball strikes to make the robotic strike zone.
Mm-hmm.
Any rule changes that the committee adopts can be implemented within 45 days or with a 45-day notice to the players. The doubleheader and the extra innings, we're going to revert back to the pre-COVID pandemic rules. Doubleheaders will be 9 innings, like we stated before, and there will be no more automatic runners at second base at the start of extra innings. Okay, so with the extra runner, so the guy who got the last out in the ninth or in the 9th inning for that respective team, when they came up to bat, he would be the runner on second base. Okay. All that really served to do was drive up the ERA for pitchers and just run the scoreboards up. He took a lot of it amplified teams that had offensive problems. It just magnified their offensive problems, or it just really took some of the innings in the game, pure, plain and simple. I'm a big fan of the getting back to 9 innings. I'm a big fan of losing that extra runner on base, in scoring position. Make the teams earn it. Absolutely make them earn it. Because you could bunt a guy over to third, and automatically you've got a runner, 90 feet from scoring, and all you got to do is just hit a deep fly ball, tag up, and then he's in. No, get back to playing baseball. So I was never really a big fan of the extra inning of the extra runner rule. I'm glad I did away with that. And after 7 p.m. Eastern time, which would have been 6 o'clock our time on Thursday night, the CBA got ratified, and that opened the door for nearly 200 free agents to go ahead and start working their deals with clubs to try to figure out who's going to go where. And there has been a flurry of activity out there. We've got some notable free agents that are still out there, like Carlos Correa, Chris Bryant, Trevor Story. Freddie Freeman's the big one. He played first base for the Braves last year when they won the World Series against the Astros. Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber played first base and did some platooning with the outfield for the Red Sox. I would like to see them resign, not necessarily as a first baseman, maybe more of a, just a platoon guy for the outfield. Maybe have him play in the DH slot every once in a while, because he's got a good bat and he got great swings. It was really kind of tailored for Fenway Park. I got Michael Conforto, Anthony Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo went and he played for the Yankees last year after leaving Chicago, but he's a good first baseman. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens. These free agents a lot of times will either report to camp or they'll report to a free agent camp that kind of gets set up impromptu somewhere. And as guys get signed, they leave that camp and they report to their new home. But there's a 27-year-old power hitter from Japan. He's an outfielder by the name of Sia Suzuki. He's also available, and he's expected to face meetings with several teams. He's been reported being heavily leaning towards the Red Sox. I think there's like a couple of National League teams that they're trying to get in on him. But trades, those teams were forbidden from continuing or initiating trade talks during the 3-month lockout. But all of that is open now, so they can start conducting business as usual.
So they can do international now, right?
Yeah. Well, see, and the thing was that they were trying to talk about doing an international draft, but players like David Ortiz, Yadier Molina, they're from the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, respectively. They were really against an international draft, and the reason why they were doing that is because, if they institute an international draft, it would basically ruin baseball in those countries, because these baseball academies that pop up, that have been set up in those countries, they're schools. They're actual schools. Like the kids have to report there. They have to maintain a GPA. They have to graduate before they can go play pro ball. They can get drafted just like anybody else. They can have scouts come and take a look at them, and they can sign a contract with them, but they don't receive any of that money until they graduate and they're ready to go play.
That's actually a better way to do that, something like that.
Yeah, but with the international draft, it would throw that entire system out the window, and it would basically decimate those baseball schools. So, blockbuster trades during spring training, they are unusual, but this is going to be an exceptional year, just simply due to the fact that with the lockout ending just recently, we're looking at no winter meetings of any kind. So usually the winter meetings is when all of that stuff takes place, and that you've got that whole hot stove season, which is AKA the off season. None of that took place because that lockout started in December. So, there was no ball news other than the posturing between both sides, and that was it. so we're going to see a lot of moving parts, a lot of players reporting for camp one day and then having to pack up their stuff and move and fly, either, down the road in Florida, on the road in Arizona, or they may have to fly halfway across the country to go from Surprise, Arizona, all the way out to the various camps in Florida. So that's going to be something that we wouldn't normally see during spring training, because they are trying to figure out that cohesiveness. They're trying to figure out whether this puzzle piece is going to work here. But now there's going to be so many moving parts that, it's going to, you're really going to see who's been dedicated to their craft during the lockout, and they've been out there working out on their own. Let me see here. Let's see here. There's a lot of work about arbitration. At the start of the lockout, there were 197 players who were eligible for arbitration. Now, arbitration means is that they usually the end of their contract, or they're nearing the end of their contract, and instead of whenever when the two sides come to the table, the player or the team will go, we're going to tender this offer, and if the player declines it, hey, look, here's our counter offer. The team can option or ask for arbitration, or the player can ask for arbitration, and then they get a mediator come in, a third party mediator come in, and then they work it out. And what that usually equates to is that it's like a year extension, or something like that. There were 197 players that were eligible for arbitration and tendered contracts by their clubs who hadn't signed yet. And so when the lockout happened, all that stuff went on the back burner. So their contract situations had to be resolved. So now, ordinarily, arbitration figures are exchanged in January and hearings are held in February, but that wasn't possible. So this year, the arbitration exchange date will be March 22nd, with hearings taking place during the season. So that's going to be interesting to see whether or not that's going to be a distraction for teams. It's going to be a distraction for the players that are entering arbitration. We'll just kind of see how that has to how it fleshes out. Now, there's a thing called the Rule 5 draft. Can you still see me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, by definition, the Rule 5 draft, it's held each December. All right. So clubs without a full 40-man roster are able to select a non-40-man roster player from other clubs. So clubs enter or draft in reverse order of the standings from the previous season. So players signed 8 or younger need to be added to their club's 40-man roster within 5 seasons, or they become eligible for this draft. Okay. Players who signed at age 19 or older need to be protected within 4 seasons.
What does that mean exactly? Protected.
Right. So it's kind of like giving a player tenure, for lack of a better term. So like with teachers at universities, like they stay on staff for so long and they become tenured, and it's impossible for them to lose a job unless they say something incredibly stupid, misogynistic, or xenophobic, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even then, it's still kind of iffy. But with players, the way that it works is that you've got your 40-man roster. So that those are players that have major league contracts. They're on the 40-man roster, which are doing rehab in AAA, or they're up in the big leagues with the club playing on a daily basis. Okay, those 40 men are drawing pay from the big club. Okay, so with players 18 and younger that get signed team, they have 5 seasons to get signed to that 40-man roster to become protected. Okay, versus the 19 or older, they've got 4 seasons to have that happen. Now, protection means that they're not eligible for this Rule 5 draft. So when that Rule 5 draft starts, if you're not a team, if you get selected by another club, you have to go over there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have no choice.
No, I got that. Now, have clubs actually just took somebody just so another place hadn't got it? Because that sounds like that would actually happen a lot.
Yeah, that happens all the time. The Yankees go out and sign players that they have no intention of playing on their big league roster, just so that way other teams in the division can't get them, like the Red Sox. It happened all the time in the 80s and 90s. And then in the 2000s, the Yankees went out and got all these big name players, and just so that where the Red Sox couldn't sign them, but the Red Sox went and played Moneyball and ended up beating them in 2004 in the ALCS and went on to win the next four. Win 4 championships out of like the next like 12 years. So, but not every club will make a selection. So those who do not pick a player, they've got to pay $100,000 to the club from where that player was selected. So it's not like you can go out and just say, hey, you can't do anything about it. If like, say if the Red Sox pick somebody from the Rangers, okay, the Red Sox have to pay the Rangers $100,000 for that player. So it's in essence really kind of buying out
their contract,
their contract, so that they have ownership. Yeah, so that way they can assume ownership of that player or the rights to that player. Okay. But going back to so there's not going to be a Rule 5 draft anymore, at least not this year. So it's been canceled for this season. So whether or not they go back next year and they reinstitute the Rule 5 draft, we'll see. That's something that really wasn't clear when they reported all the details about the CBA. There's a 5-year agreement that includes increased minimum salaries, starting at $700,000 a year in 2022, increasing it to $780,000 by the end of the CBA, which is a 5-year term. Let me see here. No changes to the amateur draft, which is basically like high school students. There is a current plan for a 15-day IL, or the injured list. They stopped calling it the disabled list because somebody that apparently woke up one morning and decided they were going to choose wokeness said that disabled list is an offensive term, so we're going to call it the injured list. Like, whatever. Get over yourself. Give your balls a tug there, tit fucker. But this is actually a rule change that prior to the pandemic was planned for the 2020 season as a way to reduce roster churn or turnover. Change was put on hold for the last 2 years because of COVID. There will still be a separate COVID IL. So for guys who test positive or whatever, they'll go on the list for 10 to 15 days until they come back negative, and go from there. But but the current 15-day plan is for pitchers and is for pitchers only, but there's a 10-day list for the position players. So all of the infielders and outfielders, with the exception of the pitcher, they all get 10 days which is 15 days. And the reason why pitchers get more is because pitchers only work every 4 to 5 days anyway. So you're really kind of just taking them out of their rotation for 3 starts. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because if a position player has to miss 10 days, okay, that's 10 games. They're still equating that to, for whatever reason, I guess they're using new math. And the new math applies to pitchers. 10 days per position player is equal to 3 starts for a pitcher, because a pitcher can get out there if he's having a good day. He can throw anywhere from 60 to 110 pitches, depending on how deep into that start that he can get and how well he's throwing the ball. So that's a lot of wear and tear on the elbows, their throwing hands. Because just the physical mechanics of throwing a pitch, it's when I was coaching Little League, I described it as beautifully contained violence.
Yeah, that would
throwing a baseball is an unnatural motion. Yeah, so it's really, it's a beautiful thing to watch, but it is so hard on the body. So there's that thing there, but yeah, as soon as last Wednesday, whenever they said that baseball was coming back, that both sides had agreed to all of the terms, The CBA was just pending ratification by both sides. They ratified it, and I mean, I immediately voted to accept it, and it just unlike when Alderaan exploded and you heard a million voices scream out, and then there was suddenly silence. It was just silence, and then all of a sudden it was roar. It was like probably standing behind a 747 at full throttle. So college baseball is still going to be there. It's still an exciting game to watch. I'm going to try to catch as many college games as I can this year through between work and traveling and things of that nature. But for me, just being able to keep up with that 6-month, 162 game grind, that's going to be great. And then being able to watch this new playoff format kind of unfold, it's really going to be exciting. I ideally, normally, and originally, I didn't support the idea of expanding the playoff field because it just really kind of dilutes it. But by they took the incentive to win away from the 2 wild card teams by playing that extra game. They gave that incentive to win and get the better records to the divisional winners to get that first round bye. So I'm all for that. So especially if you get the number 1 and the number 2 seeds, they're going to go into these playoffs, and their entire pitching staff is going to have a chance to rest. They're going to be able to practice, and guys that ended the season on the IL are going to be able to work their way back and make the playoffs and be healthy for it. So I think overall it has the potential to make the product a lot better. I think it's going to be better for the game in the long run. But as long as they don't go too far down, I mean, because we, for the love of God, we really don't need to turn Major League Baseball into basketball where everybody makes the playoffs and the playoffs last longer than the regular season. That to me just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't help the game grow. It actually hurts the game because it's called oversaturation.
Yeah, it's the same thing what they do with soccer half the time.
Yeah, I mean, you've got like 15 different professional leagues out there, and it just seems like you're soccer, and it's like always, there's this friendly match, or this is the World Cup qualifier, this is the UEFA Championship, or this is the FIFA. I just stop. I mean, really, I get it. People need that. They need that regulated to fill their day. But as far as baseball is concerned, to protect the integrity of the game, don't go any more than a 12-team field. If the playoffs work and it makes the game better, it makes the postseason more exciting to watch, leave it alone. Because don't break it for the sake of saying, "Look what I did." Fix it, Felix Fix It Jr. I think it is from Fix It Ralph, Wreck-It Ralph. Leave him in the Pixar universe. Just quit trying to retool it. I mean, the wheel is fine. There's no need to break it down and trying to see if you can get the edges even more round, because at a certain point, once you obtain as close to perfection as you're going to humanly get, leave it the fuck. That's my take on it. There's a lot of teams. There was actually some trades made today. The Braves, in an interesting move, went out and got Matt Olson from the Oakland A's, and he's a first baseman. Now, why that's interesting is because Freddie Freeman, who I said earlier at the beginning of the show, is a free agent. So there's like this huge sweepstakes. The teams are just trying to get to him. They're trying to give him enough money to where he can take off the Braves uniform and go put theirs on and play for them. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if the Braves are looking at using Matt Olson as a trade chip for something else. If they're going to try to have him move over and become a different, play a different position, or are they going to look at trying to platoon a position with him and Matt? And don't know. Are they just out on Freddie Freeman? And nobody really knows because neither one of the sides are talking right now. So we'll see what happens there. Let me see here. The Rockies are aggressively trying to pursue Bryant for the Giants last year after leaving the Cubs. And the Yankees picked up Josh Donaldson from the Minnesota Twins today, which is interesting because he and Garrett Cole don't like each other.
Like with a
At
passion?
all. Like they borderline hate each other. Yeah. Josh Donaldson actually got tossed out of a game for chirping at Garrett Cole after taking him, hitting a home run off.
That's funny.
So, I'm just like, okay, we'll see what happens there. But it's gonna be kind of cool to watch all the moves being going on there. I know that Red Sox got Jack Bradley Jr. back. If that name rings a bell, if you remember when we had Zach Medford on the show with us a while back, and he was talking about when he went to a baseball camp, there was a guy from University of South Carolina by the name of Jackie Bradley Jr. there.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie Bradley Jr. played for a World Series with us back in 2018. He is probably one of the most prolific center fielders, defensively speaking, that I've seen play the position across the majors for a long time. He doesn't win a lot of gold gloves because he doesn't do those flashy dives. When he does, I mean, they're spectacular catches because the guy is just an efficient route runner. I mean, he runs down a ball with minimal correction on his routes. He picks an angle and he sticks to it. The guy's got great perception, defensively speaking. He's got a very high baseball IQ. His batting average could be a little bit higher, but the fact that I wouldn't classify him as a legacy favorite, but he has been a fan favorite of Red Sox Nation. So I'm a fan of the fact that they traded to get him back. And they didn't really give up a lot. They gave up a couple of second tier minor league prospects. So it's not like they drained the farm system to get him back. But as far as defensively speaking, defensive terms, he's going to definitely bring back that Gold Glove caliber defense to the outfield, which is going to be really a great addition, considering the quirkiness of the center field for Fenway Park, because 20 feet or straightaway dead center, you've got that triangle out there that between the bullpen and the garage door that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And Jackie Bradley Jr. just really had a knack for being able to kind of patrol that ground out there, and he's quick. I mean, the guy's got an amazing arm. He can throw people out. There's videos that have been going around when he was still with the Red Sox. He was standing behind home plate and took two running steps and threw a baseball from behind home plate into the stands in the outfield.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean, the dude's got an absolute cannon. So, like I said, I'm really happy that they brought him back. We're going to see what happens. I'm excited to see what happens with the season as far as Boston's concerned. Padres, they're kind of going into the season optimistic, but they're still kind of going like, what the hell? Because they're stud for the year last year for Fernando Tatis Jr. He's got a broken wrist.
Oh.
Yeah, and then Pete Alonso Jr. He's a stud slugger. He was a rookie last year. No, year before last. So this will be his third year. He won the home run derby 2 years in a row. Last 2 years, he was making the league minimum, so he wasn't even getting paid $1 million a year. And he participated in the home run derby because if you win the home run derby, you take home a $1 million check. So, he was moonlighting. He was his league minimum by participating and winning in the home run derby. But he had
Does all the players get that $1 million, or just the
winner?
Oh, okay.
Just
so
the
if the winner wins it, then
it's the home run derby is a winner take all purse.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure that it's not just the pitcher, the whole every player on that team that wins it gets that $1 million?
Nope, just that player.
Really?
Yep.
Damn.
I mean, because it's the home run derby. You're out there to shine as an individual slugger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's like the slam dunk competition.
Yeah, more. But Pete Alonso Jr., he tweeted out this morning that he had a horrific car accident. His car flipped 3 times, and he definitely, it scared him. But he said he'll be returned for baseball activities tomorrow. So I'm like, guy takes a tumble in his car 3 times, and he's talking about getting back out on the field. I don't know about him. I mean, this dude's like a physical specimen. You boned a few months back, dude. I tried to come back to work that week, and I was just like, yeah, no, can't do this.
Yeah.
You know.
I saw you struggle
like,
to try to do that.
Yeah, and I'm just like, no. I had to swallow my pride and just kind of say, you know what, I'm going to go back to the house and lay down. But as far as baseball news, that's pretty much about it. Football, obviously,
the GOAT's back. Now, I actually
back.
You know what was funny though is I actually talked to a couple of people that were football fans up at work, saying, I was like, well, he's a GOAT. He's actually pretty good. And what the reason why he did not like Tom Brady was actually very intelligent. It was like, oh, I just hate him. He gave it was like he said the same thing. He's like, I like Michael Jordan as a player. I know he's pretty good, and he puts seats in the stand and everything like that. But the reason why I don't like Tom Brady, the reason why I don't like Michael Jordan, is because the fact that when he gets foul or something happens to him and everything like that, they shrug it off. But when they see the same player in the same game get dealt the same deal, they just ignore. They either ignore, they not ignore it, but like if Michael Jordan got fouled in the game, fouled somebody in the game, they would brush it off. But when another player did the same thing, they would basically shove it off. That was his example of it.
Yeah, well, the fact that Tom Brady's coming back for season number 23, I mean, the joke started like immediately.
Yeah.
The baseball
Tom Brady.
lockout. The baseball lockout lasted longer than or I saw one today. It was a meme. It was a very classy photo of Tom Brady. It was black and white. He had his coat on with a turtleneck, right? And it looked like a perfume ad or a cologne ad. Tom Brady turned, caption underneath it was a quote, says, "Fuck them kids." So, they were like, yeah, Tom Brady's tired of playing with his kids every day.
That's funny. And
you can.
Huh? What the fuck? Quit doing the fucking cute shit. I'm throwing up a little bit in my mouth every time I see that shit. Quit the cuteness.
Hey, this show is mine. I do what I damn want.
Actually, Marie were talking about that because I was like, because she was like, oh, they seem like such a cute couple and everything. I was like, yeah. Until you actually see it live, then you're throwing up a little bit in your freaking mouth a little bit because its cuteness is overpowering everything.
What are you looking for? Let me see here.
And Johnny's off doing funny stuff.
No, okay.
So
funny stuff.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's just
I mean, I'm happy, buddy. He's coming back.
His retirement. Yeah, if you remember when he announced his retirement, I straight up said
He'll be back.
that I did not expect it to last very long.
Yeah. Dude, could you imagine if we bet that shit? How much money would we get right now?
Right. And can you imagine when he made that announcement, the guy that bought his last touchdown ball for $500,000? He's probably sitting there going, should have kept my fucking receipt.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's collectors like that are like, man, fuck that guy. But you know,
you
I'm excited.
Fucker.
Right. I'm excited. I think it's a great game. I know that Tampa Bay is ecstatic about it because he specifically said,
That's
I'm
all
coming back with Tampa because he said two words that just better put the rest of the NFL on notice and piss everybody else off. Unfinished business. I mean, they lost in the divisional round, and Tom Brady is like, nah, I really don't feel like going out like that. So, I think he's going to come back hungry this year. Look for this to probably be his last year, though.
Well, it was technically supposed to be his last year this year, anyways.
Right, but if he can get ring number 8, look for him to retire on top.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, I honestly and truly do not think. I mean, the guy has been in 10 Super Bowls. He's won 7 of those motherfuckers. Okay? I don't think that anybody's going to be able to touch that record. It's just not going to happen. Not with the way the free agency works these days. Not with the hunger and just the greed that the new generation of players have. I really don't see. I don't see that record ever getting touched. And if he ties it up with an even number 8, he kind of will buck that trend. Because you remember I had talked about, the 7 championships kind of seems to be that brick wall in the sky. Like everybody thought that it used to be impossible to break the sound barrier. It seems like it's just incredibly hard.
What was the same thing with freaking cars? They wouldn't allow cars go past 55 because they thought the compression of that would destroy
it. Wasn't that at all. It was sure, unadulterated gas mileage. That's all it was. Because for whatever reason, the engineers at the time thought that you optimized your gas mileage at 55 miles an hour, and the fact that we were driving all steel vehicles, that was probably best. But, I think that if he can break that 7 and tie on that 8th ring, I think he'll be good. I'm excited for it. I honestly wasn't ready to frame my Tom Brady jerseys yet and put them on the wall. I'm going to get another season of use out of them. So, there's that. But, I know it's from I know that it's from a game that got lost, but check this out. This is going to make the debut unofficially here, but I'm going to wear it on next week's show. Okay.
Oh, you finally got it.
Yeah, it finally came in. My Army jersey from the Army Navy game.
Oh, that's so
cute. Bro, you know what? I know that Navy got handed a win by the officiating crew because they refused to call like 6 fucking penalties on the Navy squad. But
I'm so glad you and Kenny didn't. You would have gotten so pissed off. He would have egged you on for a little bit.
Yeah. it might have turned a little violent. But, you know, and that's just, I mean, I kind of feel bad for the Air Force Academy in a way, because here the Army Navy have got this historic rivalry that gets absolutely fierce and can and has come to blows in the past. Then here comes the Air Force Academy. They opened up in the 50s when the Air Force was created, and they're like, hey guys, I want to come to the party and play. And we're just kind of looking at you like, the fuck is this guy? You know? I mean, they get all the flashy uniforms, and you guys get to go play with fucking jets. You know? And why don't you just sit up there and smoke your weed in Colorado Springs and just shut the fuck up? You know? But in all fairness, it is the Commander-in-Chief trophy. I know that Army didn't win it this year. Neither did Navy, neither did Air Force. Whenever the Commander-in-Chief trophy doesn't have a clear winner, it is retained by the previous service academy who won it the prior year. So the Commander-in-Chief's trophy is still sitting in the display case at West Point. So, not that Air Force had a say in the game. Although they did beat Navy, we beat Air Force, and Navy beat us. So everybody got beat by somebody.
Yeah.
Just kind of putting that out there. I don't know. Went to the Houston Rodeo this week, or last week rather.
Oh yeah.
Fucking saw Journey, dude. Oh damn, that was a good show. I don't know if you saw the video that I posted where their lead guitarist was playing the Star Spangled Banner to open the show. Bro, that was badass. And you want to talk about, I've always believed that it should be federal law that anytime a Journey song comes on the radio, that traffic must stop and you get out of your car and everyone has to sing along. It just has to, right? I mean, they just opened up with that piano solo, dun, 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 you know, and everybody's like, oh, I mean, the place went absolutely ballistic. We all were all singing. Just a slow down, girl. Dude, the whole 72,000 people were packed into that stadium to watch this concert. 72,000 people. The show sold out.
Damn.
72,000 tickets were sold, and 72,000 tickets were scanned for the Journey concert last Thursday.
So people's heard about this band.
Fucking great, right? I mean, at one point you could really kind of tell it was like, I'm sitting there going, I don't want to be one of those people. I don't want to be part of that generation. Dude, I'm part of the generation that when we go to a fucking concert, if we're waving anything that lights up, it's a lighter, right? No, they're like, hey, turn your cell phone flashlight, lights on, and let's light up this entire arena. So they turned all the lights off in the arena, and 72,000 people turned their cell phone flashlights on, and it lit up the entire inside of that stadium. Dude, that was cool. I mean, I'm just like, whoa, it was a great show. My voice wasn't hoarse like it was at the end of the Armed Forces Bowl, but dude, we had such a good time. This Wednesday, we're going to take the kids to the Houston Rodeo, just kind of during the daytime. Actually, it's going to be toward the evening. Anyway, but we're going to take them to do the shops because they've got this huge petting zoo where you can go in and you can see the livestock and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a really cool experience, man, and I cannot wait for you to get down here so that way you can experience it next year. Because, dude, that is just that's something to behold, bro. It really, really is.
Yeah.
But because Journey was one of those last minute kind of late additions to the lineup.
Oh, really?
And it just their tickets sold out like that.
Oh, wow.
I mean, and our seats were amazing. Amazing. No, they have this thing, it's called Value Wednesdays, where it's $5 to get in, and that includes the rodeo, that includes the concert afterward, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, those are the nosebleed seats, right? This is NRG Stadium where the Texans play, right? This is the same building that Tom Brady won a couple of his Super Bowls in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that fact wasn't lost on me the entire time I'm sitting there. And I'm like, all right, but as a matter of fact, I believe that this NRG Stadium, which used to be called Reliant Stadium, was the same venue when Tom Brady and the Patriots came back after trailing 28-3 to the Atlanta Falcons.
Damn.
Yeah. So I'm sitting in there.
Oh, was it
was
it the game that everybody fucking hated?
Oh, everybody's like, this game's fucking rigged, and I'm just like, look, Tom Brady right there just shut everybody up and just said, you know what? I'm running this. We're taking this game. And once that second half kicked off, bro, just going crazy, and I'm like, the guy cemented his case for the title of GOAT at during that game. But anyway, all that aside, I'll be back into town this coming Sunday, and we should be able to hopefully shoot, if you're down for it, shoot an episode in the studio.
Okay.
Starting next week.
Well, it's going to be you and your dad.
That's right. So I do need to. I need to prepare my dad for that then.
Yeah.
So we'll
hopefully you don't do what I did.
Start bashing siblings. No, it's not going to happen.
We couldn't help ourselves because she didn't. No, I'm not even going to get into it. Yeah. But anyways,
later on in the week, we'll text back and forth just to kind of get an idea as to what the synopsis is going to be, so that way I can kind of let him know, hey, look, I really need you to get in the mindset, So, I can bring my sound card, I guess.
No. You don't even have to worry about that. I'll just bring him. We got everything. I'm not even going to be in there, so I don't have to. Oh. I'll be there to set everything up.
You just won't be on camera.
I just won't be on camera. If anything, I'll just be researching shit. And anyways, now we can actually talk about. We'll only do this for 5 minutes. We'll talk about what I've been wanting to talk about for the longest time. The nerd portion, the fucking Batman. I've actually been getting the Batman. What's really sad is I had lots of people saying bad things about it. Like, oh, it was too dark. I was like, it was supposed to be fucking dark. It's at night. What do you expect?
Batman's a dark character.
What do you expect? Like a fucking spotlight to be on the entire time? Oh, he's not in. What the hell? But it was so much in realism that you actually believe. If you actually took away the aspects of it being a superhero movie, it still worked.
And I mean, I love the fact that the Batmobile, we did the research on it. It's based off of a 1970 Plymouth Barracuda.
Yeah.
You saw the engine being torn apart during the movie. You saw the car under a tarp in his bat cave. He had the stitching on his cowl, so that means that he's building a lot of his stuff on his own.
Yeah.
And we had talked a little bit, before we started filming off camera, that really Superman's power, his superpower, is his intellect and his ability to, his detective powers. I mean, his detective.
You mean Batman,
powers.
Right?
Yeah.
You said Superman.
Oh, I meant Batman. I don't fucking think Superman. Anyways, see, that's my flub for the episode. But yeah, I went into it with an open mind, thinking, okay, it's Robert Pattinson, and
he did a wonderful job.
He did a great Batman. And I think the reason why he was lacking on the Bruce Wayne front, because honestly, when we saw him as Bruce Wayne, he looked like a really depressed fucking emo kid, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you remember when he's talking to the Riddler at Arkham, the Riddler looked at him and said, I think this is the real you.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to unmask you to find out who's under the mask. But as you're standing here, I see the real you. You know, so I think that was kind of a cool take on it. I love the fact that the Joker is now going to be a part of this universe.
Well, it's always going to happen like that.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to happen, but I'm like, ooh, you know.
I'm glad they hit him away and everything, so they could
somebody
actually
said
get somebody.
that the Penguin was played by Will Ferrell.
No, Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell? Oh, yeah.
The guy that played Bullseye.
Yes.
Yeah, that
okay.
was him.
I was like, that's believable, because I was like, Will Ferrell? What? No, no, because Will Ferrell, I'm sorry. I don't him,
see him in that good of an actor to do something like that.
I mean, even when he did his like serious drama in Stranger Than Fiction,
yeah,
it still had a comedic
or
factor
everything
to it.
or everything must go. That was supposed to be a serious
I'm just like,
role, and it just
I don't see him doing that. That's not in his range. But yeah, Colin Farrell, yeah, okay, because now I'm thinking back, I can see that. But there was a lot of like nods to a lot of like classic Batman stuff. And
yeah, because
it
was a mix between Batman Year One and Long Halloween.
Yeah. But I will go ahead and I'll give this an A. I mean, absolutely. Probably about a 4.5 out of 5 if I'm going to rate it on a star scale. There's every actor that has, with the exception of George Clooney, fuck you, George Clooney, Mr. Bat Nipples, asshole. Anyway,
that was his fault. That was the director's fault.
Yeah, Joel Schumacher. Everybody would go, I want Bat Nipples. No, George Clooney could have said no. Sorry. Yeah. And then, but all that aside, it's like that meme, like, you did a great job. You know, thanks for the memories, not you. And it's got his picture right in the middle. I want to say, yeah, I really like the job that he did with it. I mean, Robert Pattinson, he can act. I mean, Twilight aside, he can actually act. And, you know, it just the fact that he wasn't so over the top jacked, you know, I mean, like,
yeah.
He
did that for a reason.
Such
he didn't want to do that.
Amount. No, he didn't. But, and I'm glad that they didn't, because it made Bruce Wayne more realistic and more relatable. You know, I love the fact that he didn't have Vicente Fox backing the entire R&D, you know, division of Wayne Enterprises. Bruce Wayne is doing the work himself, and I loved it. It was such a great movie, and I'm glad that it took almost 3 hours to tell that story.
Yeah,
because, and that's the thing we see a lot with these superhero movies. They try to cram it in an hour and a half or an hour and 47 minutes. This took almost a full 3 hours to tell this story, and it was beautifully done. And I would pay to go watch this again in the theater. This is definitely going to be one of those digital 4K purchases as soon as it becomes available.
It's gonna be on HBO Max in about 45 days from the actual release. So what was it, last week or a week after that?
Yeah, I know, but some movies you just want to own a part of, and buying them either digitally or through the hard copy, that's our way, the common man, everyday guy's way of being able to do that. So
Well, here's the thing on it though. It was actually so far. What was it? 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's already hit $500 million.
Yeah, so it's a $500 million. Is that domestic or worldwide? Probably worldwide.
No, not worldwide.
That's domestic?
No,
Wow.
no, it can't be worldwide.
Aside from Russia,
yeah.
you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I think
Like
that's
China,
worldwide. The
Japan,
box office
stuff
is
like
always worldwide.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would specifically say domestic, domestic take. But I mean, either way, man. I mean, I know that it's got its critics, and there's a lot of people. I personally know somebody that was like, "Yeah, don't waste your time." Of course, this person didn't even bother to go watch in the theater. They pirated it off their Fire Stick. So I really don't care. Everybody's got their opinion. Most of them are wrong. They're entitled to it. You and I served for that specific reason, to give the people their ability to have an opinion. But thank us for service later. But all that aside, yeah, definitely, man. I would give the Batman an A grade, absolutely, 100%.
Well, they're talking about it just being a standalone trilogy, and Patterson and Reeves expressed interest in introducing Robin and featuring the Court of Owls, Calendar Man, Mr. Freeze, or Hush as the villains in the sequel.
That's fine. Because with the DC universe, the cinematic universe, the DECU, I think it is,
Mm-hmm.
it's all multiversal anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to Black Adam, which is weird that I'm looking forward to DC movies, but the new Flash movie, the Aquaman sequel, Black Adam itself, I mean, DC is going to have some pretty good titles coming out this year, so we'll see what happens with it. I'm going to reserve my judgment on them. I don't know. We'll see. I know that on May 6th, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is coming out. So that is definitely going to be opening weekend type material. So, but anyway, man, I'm going to get off here.
Well, here comes the Black Adam's going to be in July. Flash is going to be in November. Aquaman is going to be in December. Batgirl still to be announced, and Shazam's supposed to be June 2nd, 2023, and Blue Beetle is going to be August 18th, 2023.
Yeah. I would love to see Patrick Warburton do a cinematic rendering of the Tick.
But anyways, thank you all for watching.
You didn't hear me what I just said, did you?
No, I blinked out a little bit.
I said I would love to see Patrick Warburton reprise his role as the Tick on the big screen.
That would be funny as hell.
Dude, that would be great. Have you watched The Boys Diabolical on Amazon? That first episode had me rolling, dude. That was a really fun series to watch.
Yeah, and Awkwafina's powers.
Yeah. But dude, that was so much fun to watch. I'm like, man, that was great.
I think comedy's coming back. I think comedy's finally coming back.
Did you see the trailer for season 3 of The Boys? Oh, I think Butcher took some Compound V, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Where at least it was given, or it might have been like given.
I think he
to
stole
him,
it last season.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right. But anyway, we're gonna kind of call this a night. Sorry for the week off, everybody. I just needed some time. Plus, I'm down here in Houston right now anyway. But I'll be returning to Fallstown reluctantly starting Sunday. So we'll be in the studio off and on, potentially over the next couple of months. But yeah, until then, I'm Johnny Skelton.
I'm David Dickerman. And thanks for watching,
you guys,
everybody.
For watching. Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Nerd Sports. Thank you. I think this is what, episode 49?
48.
Oh, this is 48. Okay, so 2 more episodes to the 50th. I still have no clue what the hell I'm going to do for 50th.
We'll talk about
We'll figure it out. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll talk about it. But thank you everybody for your support. If you haven't heard the new copy that I've read, get on Rumble, get on all of our social media platforms.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in between
to us. Drop us some likes and reviews. Yeah, so drop some likes and reviews. Definitely get the word out about us, especially when we both potentially relocate to the Houston area.
Hopefully.
Just, I mean, look for good things coming up in the future for Angry Me. We're definitely going to try to expand our catalog. We're going to introduce some of our
fuckeries.
Some fuckery through the I'm drawing a blank here. We're going to produce our own content on things like TikTok. We're going to definitely become a little bit more interactive. We may be even be able to do some like on location shoots at places like the fucking beach, or places like that. Go catch some minor league baseball games. I mean, hell, there's a professional rugby team here in Houston.
Yeah.
So, anyway, definitely be on the lookout for that. And again, thank you everybody for just tuning in and just kind of bearing with us and letting us rape your ear holes for the last hour and 10 minutes. So, and until then, y'all have a good week. And I'd say don't do anything I wouldn't do, but that definitely doesn't leave a lot to the imagination. So I will say this: if you're going to do it, be good or be good at it.
And don't videotape it.